Ghising was a prominent political leader who dedicated his life to fights for the rights of Gorkha community and their demand for a separate state. His impact on the region and its people cannot be overstated. In this video, we'll be delving into Ghising's political journey, his strategies, and the controversies that surrounded him. We'll also explore his personal life and the factors that shaped his ideologies. We will take a look at Ghising's rise to power, his impact on the Gorkhaland movement, and the circumstances that led to his eventual downfall. By the end of this video, you will have a deeper understanding of the man, the legend, and the legacy that is Subash Ghising. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's take a journey through the life and the times of one of the most iconic political leaders in Indian history. First of all, let us talk about why Ghising is looked upon as a fallen hero of Gorkhaland movement. Subash Ghising was a prominent political leader and the founder of the Gorkha National Liberation Front (GNLF) in the hills of West Bengal. He played a significant role in Gorkhaland movement, which sought to create a separate state for Gorkha community. Ghising's leadership was instrumental in the early years of the movement, but his legacy has been tarnished by the accusations of corruption and violence. Ghising's leadership of the GNLF was marked by periods of unrest and violence, including clashes with other political factions and the Indian government. Despite achieving some success in the early years of the movement, Ghising's leadership later became controversial due to allegations of corruption and mismanagement of funds meant for the development of the region. The tide of public opinion turned against Ghising, and his leadership was eventually challenged by a new political party, the Gorkha Janamukti Morcha (GJM) in 2008. After a period of violent protests and strikes, the GJM succeeded in forcing Ghising to resign as the leader of GNLF, effectively ending his political career. Despite his eventual downfall, Ghising's legacy remains a complex one. He was a key figure in the early years of the Gorkhaland movement. His efforts played a significant role in bringing attention to the grievances of the Gorkha community. However, his leadership style and the controversies surrounding his leadership have led many to view him as a fallen hero of the movement. Born into a humble family on 22nd June 1936 at Manjuti Estate in Mirik, Subash Ghising was the sixth child. His father was the garden babu and mother was a homemaker. Growing up years were difficult for Subash, as his father passed away when he was still in class 9, which caused him to leave school and joined the Indian Army in 1954. Joining the army was both a blessing as well as a curse. Blessings in the sense that while he was in army, he could complete his matriculation in 1959. Curse in that his conscience did not permit him to remain in the army, as India for all intent and purpose still considered all the Nepalis to be foreigners, not Indians, but citizens of Nepal. In 1960, Subash had enough of his internal conflict and with the resolve to do something about the identity crisis that Indian citizens of Nepali ethnicity faced. He quit the army and came back to Darjeeling. His matriculation served him well and he landed a job as a teacher at Tindhare Bangla Primary School in 1961. However, he only taught there for a while and left for Kalimpong to acquire a teaching diploma from the Junior BT College in 1962. Subash was a rebellious child. He quit his erstwhile college midway after an altercation with the college principal. In 1963, Subash joined Darjeeling Government College, where he completed his class 12 degree Following this, he enrolled himself for undergraduate degree at the same institution. It was during his time at the Darjeeling Government College that he found his niche politics. He quickly rose through the ranks to become the General Secretary of a local youth outfit Tarun Sangh. Sadly, it was his involvement in politics which got him to quit college in the second year after he was arrested. During a political rally protesting against the poor socio-economic condition of the hill people. Subash eventually formed his first political organization, Nilo Jhanda, in the year 1968 to highlight the various socio-economic deprivation that hill people had to face. His quest for political relevance saw Ghising join Pran Parishad, where his contemporaries included Nepali literary great late Indra Bahadur Rai and late Madan Tamang, among others. For the first time on 22nd April 1979, Subash raised the demand for a separate state for the Nepali-speaking people of the Darjeeling region. During his Prant Parishad days, Subash's rhetoric and the issues he spoke on attracted considerable support from the youth, which eventually culminated in him forming a separate political outfit, the Gorkha National Liberation Front (GNLF). While most people naturally assume that Subash Ghising demanded Gorkhaland for the sake of the Darjeeling Hill populace, but nothing can be further from the truth. History should never be viewed in isolation. It needs to be seen holistically, because the cause and the effect relationship, which is so apparent in physics, does not hold true in politics. To understand Subash Ghising and his politics of demanding Gorkhaland, a separate state for the Gorkhas in India, you have to understand what was happening or had happened till that point in time, and that is where and why Subash Ghising attains the status of a political legend in my view. The ambiguity surrounding the citizenship of Nepalis in India had always been a bone of contention between Indian citizens of Nepali ethnicity and the Indian mainstream. In order to resolve this, a delegation of the Akhil Bharatiya Nepali Bhasha Samiti met the then Prime Minister Morarji Desai in 1977 with a request to include Nepali as one of the officially recognized languages of India under the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. They pleaded the long-cherished aspirations of over 5 million Indians with Nepali as their mother tongue, who suffer from a sense of insecurity because of the exclusion from the schedule. The inclusion of Nepali would bring about the development of a linguistic minority and emotional integration of the Nepali-speaking people in the Indian mainstream. Morarji Desai not only outright rejected the proposal but added further humiliation on the delegates by saying, "Why are you giving me this petition? I think you should be submitting this petition to your king." He was referring to the monarch in Nepal. "You people come to join the army and to live in different parts of India. Shall I stop the recruitment of Gorkhas in the Indian army? We give you an inch and you want it all." As if the humiliation meted out by the then Prime Minister was not enough, Nepalis living in the northeast states were forced to leave their homes and rendered homeless. Showing Article 7 of the Indo-Nepal Friendship Treaty of 1950. Nepalis who had been residing across the northeast of India for centuries were labeled as foreigners, were asked to either prove their citizenship or leave the land. Since most of the Nepalis lived in the far-flung areas, they had never bothered to make their citizenship certificates or other official documents, because of which they were forced into leaving their ancestral lands. It is estimated that due to the Bhumit Putra movement all over Northeast, close to 45,000 ethnically Nepali Indian citizens were asked to leave their native lands, as a result of which over 8,000 Nepali-speaking people were kicked out of their homes in Mizoram in 1967. In Assam, figures were close to 20,000 in 1979. In Meghalaya, over 17,000 Nepalis had been expelled by 1980. In Manipur, close to 2,000 by 1980. These two incidents had tremendous impact on how Subash viewed the issues of Gorkhas living in India. That is what led him to found the Gorkha National Liberation Front (GNLF) on 5th April 1980 and coined the term Gorkhaland. Rest, as they say, is history. His political acumen can be understood in the fact that the flag of his political party itself carried his political philosophy, vision and agenda which he set out to fulfill. He explained the GNLF flags as follows. Khukuri, Jatiya Chinna, racial ethnic symbol. 3 stars, Lakshya, destiny, mission. The green color, Atma Vishwas, self-confidence. Green is equals to youthful as in spring. 4 golden lines, Samanta, Sratantata, Bratitva, Avsar, equality, liberty, fraternity, opportunity. It was in 2011 that he finally divulged his 3 mission as represented in the 3 stars on the GNLF flag. Did he achieve the 3 key things for India Gorkha? Let's examine. The Gorkhaland movement wasn't merely launched to seek statehood for the people of Darjeeling, but to protect Indian Gorkhas from expulsion from all over India. Be they from Vaksu in Himachal or the Jainti and Gauru hills in Meghalaya, he wanted protection for all. He repeatedly said the DGHC and whatever other administrative setup came as a result of the movement was a bonus. His primary objective was to ensure that a constitutional guarantee for the Indian Gorkhas was assured. Indeed, the Government of India, following the signing of the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council DGHC Accord, issued an extraordinary gazette notification on the citizenship issue of Gorkhas, which was published on the 3rd of August 1988. This notification solved the ambiguity surrounding our citizenship, and the issue was forever resolved. It is to the credit of Subash that the term Gorkha was added to the first administrative setup of the Darjeeling region, the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council (DGHC). Was the first administrative body ever in India which included the term Gorkha in it. Kissing with Rajiv Gandhi after signing of DGHC Accord in 1988. So Subash Ghising deserved applause for awakening the sleeping Gorkhas and making us face the reality, for helping us to realize and making it known to the others that united we the Gorkhas are a political force. For any community anywhere in the world to thrive, the conservation of their language, traditions, culture and other socio-cultural traits are must. Back in the census of 1931, the British had included all the hill people as one unit and had categorized as a hill tribes. Post-independence, however, the hill people were divided into various factions. Some were called ST, some SC, some OBC and some general. Subash feared that this would lead to division amongst us and would weaken us from inside. He felt if we could get legislative power, this historic wrong could be undone. as the DGSC did not have any legislative power granted to it. Subash had envisioned that by bringing Darjeeling under the Schedule 6 of the Indian Constitution, we would finally get the legislative power that would not only protect our socio-cultural heritage and identity as the hill tribes, but it would eventually lead to the formation of Gorkhaland statehood. Thus, from my count, he had managed to achieve all that he had set out for himself to achieve at the outset of his political journey. And for that reason, he deserves to be called a political giant or legend. The Gorkhaland Andolan of 1986 did help in protecting and asserting the rights of the Gorkhas across India, but it left behind close to 2,000 deaths. Families were torn apart, neighbors became enemies, brother killed brother, an entire generation of youths lost their life and their future for the Gorkhaland cause. But at the end, he deceived them by accepting a powerless DGHC. As a result of 1986 Andolan, Darjeeling lost its innocence, humbleness, humility and honesty. People of Darjeeling became crooks. Lot currently enjoying power in Darjeeling is a direct product of Subash Ghising legacy. But can we blame Subash alone for this? However, the fact remains that it was him who first awakened us to our political fate, who informed us on our rights and wrongs, who taught us that as a collective we mattered. It was him to whom we can attribute the political awakening amongst Gorkha not only in Darjeeling but across India. Today, if a Gorkha from the northeast can walk with his head held high, some of that self-assurance and pride can be attributed to Subash Ghising. Today, if any Gorkha anywhere in India feels proud to call oneself an Indian, it is expressively because of Subash Ghising. This is his true legacy. Once, speaking at a public rally on the 27th of July 2001 at Chaurasta, he said, दार्जिलिङ पहाडमा अर्कै पोलिटिकल एटमोस्फियर भएर आउँछ, त्यो मैले क्रिएट गरेको हुँदैन, त्योहरू बङ्गालले पठाएको हुन्छ अनि पहाडलाई निलेको हुन्छ, त्यो समय हरियो झन्डा साइलेन्स भएर बसेको हुन्छ. He knew that someone else would raise soon to oppose him, and that he would remain quiet all through it. He did remain quiet when GGM was formed, and he quietly left Darjeeling for the sake of peace in the hills, he had once said. But perhaps it was this very political acumen wherein lies his flaw and thus leaves a very checkered legacy behind. The 75-old-year Ghising veteran hill politician said he was always a writer first, who once wrote a Nepali novel. Subash has 22 works to his credits. One of his popular works is Manna. He was admitted to the hospital 5 days ago. The legend, aged 78, around 10:30 am, after a prolonged illness. Subash Ghising died on 29 January 2015 at Gangaram Hospital in New Delhi. The hospital authorities released a statement stating that Subash Ghising was suffering from pneumonia and liver cancer.